Okay, hello and welcome to today's webinar. I thank you very much for joining today's call. My name is Verena and I will be your host today. So first to introduce FieldCode. So FieldCode is a field service management software which will support you in planning, in managing, and optimizing your field service. And today we will present to you on how automation can help you deliver exceptional customer service. So let's have a look on the agenda of today. First, we will be reviewing the FieldCode features for which are supporting the process automation. And after that, we will have a look on how we can configure them in FieldCode. And during this presentation, feel very free to raise questions. You can simply post them in the chat box, which you will find on the right-hand side. And we will then answer your question at the end of the presentation. So don't be shy and post your question in the chat box. Okay, let's have a look. With our FieldCode software, you can automate really the majority of your processes. And today we will have a look at these 6 features, at these 6 FieldCode features in more detail. Yeah, so let's go. As you know, field service management is normally not a standalone process. Before and after going on site and providing your service to your customer, you normally have a lot of things on the list. And before the visit, what is needed is to gather and document all the relevant information, like the customer data needs to be available, the deal, the contract, and service type needs to be visible. And this data normally is already in place and therefore can just be synced with your CRM system or between your CRM system and FieldCode. For your visit, it might also be needed that you have an asset associated with your ticket, and this asset is tracked and maintained already in your ERP system. And for your visit, you will need to know what is the serial number of the asset. Is this asset still in warranty? And also, it might be needed then some specific spare parts are booked to the respective asset. So all this information can just flow from your ERP system. And you further might also use an ITSM, an IT service management tool, to document your service calls. And if you do that, we can simply transfer all the required data. This includes the client data, the asset and spare parts, and we can sync it from your ITSM tool to plan and deliver the service. So FieldCode really is built to be integrated. It works as a standalone solution, but as explained, it's naturally, it naturally has the need of several API connections. And with our API connector, you can establish a bidirectional data flow, and this data will be floating in real time. And the best is that the API connector, you don't really have the need to work with code, but due to our intuitive front end, their connection can be done really easily and effortlessly. Okay. Next on the list is the workflow automation. So the workflow automation is a powerful tool to reduce any manual steps and human interaction on a ticket. You can have your visits and your tickets automatically monitored by the system. So when a ticket will be incoming, it will be actually validated automatically. Is the address correct? Are the phone numbers in the correct format? Then your tickets are automatically sorted to the correct queue based on the region of the on-site visit. And the client information on the ticket will then be routed to the correct queue. And this can also be automatically forwarded to the partners. So based on, for example, a specific skill set which is needed for a visit, then the ticket will be routed automatically. Then we also have the possibility to set an assumed duration for your ticket, and also calculate the latest service delivery time for you. This is, for example, based on a ticket category and amount of the assets supported. Okay, so another powerful workflow automation is the just-in-time publishing. So whenever the appointment is confirmed with your client, and an engineer is already being assigned to a ticket, the ticket can be automatically published to the engineer's app. And this is especially interesting if you have a lot of last-minute changes in your day and you operate on tough timelines. Okay, the last workflow automation is perhaps the most obvious one: to automate the status within the workflow. So per default, we already have two standard workflow templates available for you. So when you create your tenant, you can choose from the two options. And of course, these two options can be further customized. So we can decide if some steps can be automated and automatically filled and skipped for your project or your tenant. And the next feature group I wanted to present to you is the automated actions. The automated actions is basically magic happening in the background. These are very powerful, especially when it comes to communication. And automated actions, as the name say, is like an action which is automated. With the automated action, you can trigger workflows. You can trigger a next workflow step, for example, but you can also automatically log history logs, and you can also have automated communication. So to have an example here is then whenever you whenever an engineer reported a spare part missing, for example, then a history log can be entered, and the ticket can be automatically set to a status which is pending. So the dispatcher knows to check this ticket and to check this spare part. And based on the status, then communication can be sent out automatically to the customer that the on-site visit will be done on a later date as the spare part is missing. So you can also use this automated action for any communication sent out via email or via SMS. This can be to your customers or other stakeholders or internal departments. Okay, so now let's talk about our great feature called Ticket Info. Ticket Info allows you to have structured communication within the ticket. With our FreeCode mobile app, we have the option to send structured communication to the dispatcher or to the client. the communication created will then appear as a pop-up on the ticket. The ticket, the received ticket info, these are then also combined in a separate view, so you can see all your tickets with a comment or with an action needed. And once you have done the respective action, you can also mark the ticket as completed, and then this information disappears from your list, but will still be visible in the history log. Okay, the ticket info can also help in organizing and helping the on-site engineer. So you can automatically create a ticket info based on any parameter. For example, in this case, we have a construction site, and in the app then reminds the engineer to bring and wear his safety equipment. But what you also can do is attach any important documents to the ticket. This could be instructions or pictures. And so the engineer has everything, every information he needs on the ticket. Next, what can be used for the ticket info is to use it to make sure your service level agreements are compliant. So you can send out a communication when a ticket is due to expire, and you can then monitor your critical tickets in our analytics dashboard. Okay, so next is that I want to give you a glimpse on how FeelCode supports the core processes. This is the scheduling and dispatching. And we see here our scheduling assistant, and the scheduling assistant will support you in finding the best suitable appointment and the best skilled engineer for a specific ticket. This can be especially helpful for same-day scheduling, as it will help you finding the closest engineer with availability. And also, we can see here that engineers that are missing a specific mandatory skill are displayed in red, and I can find really the best skilled engineer, the best appointment range, and the best appointment date proposed by our scheduling assistant. Then you can see here our optimizer. And the optimizer will support you from the point of scheduling the appointment or the appointment window with the customer. So the automated dispatching will then assign all the open on-site visits to the best available and best skilled resource, and will optimize it to find the most efficient route. And this route optimization can also consider any spare part deliveries which you need to pick up before going on site to the customer. If you have the tracking information within the ticket, FeelCode can then also track and consider the expected time of arrival for the respective part, and then of course integrate this expected time of arrival in the planning, in the dispatching, and wherever these pickup points are for the respective parts, this will be of course then also considered in the routes. Okay, then we come to today's star of the show, which will also be covered then in the configuration demo. We have now the feature which is meant for the customer communication, which is the customer portal. The customer portal is a token-based website where clients are able to schedule and reschedule their best appointment. And then when the appointment commences, the customer portal token link can then be used to track the engineer's expected time of arrival. And from the perspective of the engineer, he or she can use the FICOP mobile app to report a delay in just 2 easy clicks. The customer will then be automatically informed by email or SMS, and also the dispatching team can or will be informed to potentially reviewing this ticket and take respective follow-up appointments, follow-up actions. So yeah, this is the end of our process automation feature overview. If you have any questions to the features presented, feel free to raise them via the chat box. And I'm thrilled now that we go to the live demo part, where I want to show you how easy some of these process automations can be configured in FICODE. So for my tenant here, created for the webinar, I'm now entering our admin panel. And what I want to do today is configure a project, create a dispatch group, and then configure 2 automated actions. So we will be able to use the customer portal for customer communication on the project. So first on the list is to create an project, which I can do in the admin panel. So I have already 2 standard projects as dummies in my tenant, but I will create a new project now, choosing my color, choosing the workflow, which is our second template, because I want to have validation and reporting on my project. The ticket source, I have here an interface project, and I want to consider the skills. So any qualifications are then embedded in the project and matched against. And my project also involves device information. So the asset data will be displayed and is crucial for the delivery. I can then save my project, and this is the basis now to have further configurations. I know my project is based out in Germany, and I want to create a dispatch group for that. So for this webinar, let me choose the name of the dispatch group, the time zone, and also I want to define a specific region, which is Germany. So I can simply choose the region based on the country filter, or I can also draw my dispatch group in the admin panel. Furthermore, I want to set a filter that actually only tickets for a specific project are displayed in my dispatch group. So I'm choosing my newly created webinar project, and I assign myself as an engineer as well as a dispatcher, because I'm the only resource in my project. And now I have a good basis on further configurations. I have my dispatch group, and I have my project configured. So now I want to actually configure my automated actions for enabling the customer portal. So good news is that for both of these items, I actually have templates available, and I want to choose the template for actually sending the end user a link which is then used to schedule an appointment. And I can give my automated action a name. I choose my newly created project, and then the standard automated action is created. I can actually still adjust this automated action. For example, the email text I want to change. So we see here our email text with a different operators, and I can just, for example, have a new subject line to my email, like book your appointment with us, and this is the change I want to save now. So I click save and save my automated action. And now, as soon as there's a new ticket, there will be an email sent with the shown text to the end user where he can click, and he will see our customer portal, which is displayed here. We see all the required data, like we see the customer name, telephone number, company information. We see the device information because further on we have included that. I can see any status updates, and now I can use the customer portal as a user to actually choose the appointment I would love to have. I would choose now Friday for my appointment, acknowledge it and confirm the appointment. And then further down the line, once we have Friday, I can also use the customer portal then to track my ticket and to track once the engineer is en route to me when he's due to arrive. So this is for sending out the link. I want to actually configure another automated action, which is then once the user chooses the appointment, that he receives an email which is confirming the appointment. So I will again name my automated action, which is a confirm webinar. I'll choose my webinar project. And here we have the same. I can still go on, change my filters and change my emails. So in this case, for any emails, I want to receive them as well. So I'm adding them myself in BCC. I click save, and I already have my automated actions configured. So yeah, this really was an example of two really time savers, which can be super easily configured within Field Code. And I hope, yeah, that I was able to outline on how easy it is, and how significantly you can improve and automate your operations. And to sum up, I also want to, show how these process automations can directly impact your KPIs. So attaching the correct spare part and attaching the correct instructions to the ticket, as well as considering the expected time of arrival of a spare part and the pickup points in this dispatch planning. This can really directly increase your first time fix rate, because your engineer knows what to do, is better informed, has the correct spare parts with him, and has the optimized routes considering traffic jams and will arrive punctually. This will, of course, increase the chance on fixing your on-site visit on your first visit directly. And the fact that your customers will be able to choose their appointments which suit best to them, plus they will be kept informed through the customer portal and through the automated actions. this will significantly increase the customer satisfaction. And the fact that we have less touch points. So the more touch points we have a bigger potential of failure, of course. And through automating the majority of the touch points within your customer journey, you can then lower the risk of complaints and escalations, as well as, of course, the administrative effort. So manual interactions and data transfers are reduced, and through the automated dispatching, your dispatch team can concentrate on the exceptions and the escalations, and your administrative effort and the corresponding administrative resource setup, for example, in your dispatch team, will also be significantly increased. Yeah. Okay. Great. I hope that we were able to show you that with FieldCode, you can automate your service and also boost the customer experience through the proactive field service management. And now we want to already have a quick look in our chat if we have any questions. Okay, that was definitely the wrong window. So let me go back here and opening the chat. And I see there is actually already two questions. So let me put the first question. Oh, no, I did something wrong. Apologies, but I will review the question again. So the question says, does route optimization for pickup points also consider real-time tracking information arrival of the part? So yeah, thank you for the question. And the simple answer is yes. And we outlined that briefly, that we have our whole spare part processes either connected through the API connector, which will help us getting the tracking information, or we have the spare part information, including the tracking, included manually when creating a ticket in FieldCode. And of course, if we have that data, we will be able to use that data in the scheduling process to only consider the appointment to be scheduled when the spare part is actually arriving. And also the pickup point can be way further than the actual on-site visit. So of course, the different steps on first getting the spare part picked up and then driving to the customer is considered as a point on the timeline. And as well, the optimizer will also have a look on the different pickup points and the associated tickets. So of course, it makes sense to try and have the engineer, drive to at least number of pickup points per ticket. Yeah, I hope this answered your question, BJ. So then let me have a look. Now the question was marked. So this question, let me also read it out loud. So do the available appointments consider driving times to the client? And this question is, associated with a customer portal and the amount of available slots displayed. And there we have just recently released a feature that basically it will consider the availabilities of the engineers. And of course, if the engineer also from his home location requires some driving or excessive driving to the site, and for example, the driving is more than 4 hours and the working time is 1 hour, then for this specific day, for 8 hours a day, this slot would not be displayed. So yeah, simple answer again would be a yes, it is considered. Okay, let me click finish answering. Yeah, as I said, you can always raise your question via the chat box. You can also, on the left-hand side, you can see a link to our white paper, which explains the customer engagement within Ficode. And yeah, if there's no further questions, I as well wanted to close off the webinar, today's webinar, and highlight really our pricing model as well. So because with Ficode, you can not only control your processes, but you can also control your costs, because you won't have monthly user-based pricing. We charge per event, and there is no subscription. So when comparing this pricing with a monthly user-based pricing, of course, based on your amount of tickets and amount of stuff, you can potentially save up to 74% when comparing it with the user-based model. And when you are interested, then please follow the link, which is now showed in the left corner on the webinar. So this link will bring you to a site where you can schedule a conversation with us. Either you can join our weekly demos every Thursday, or you can book a personalized appointment with us, and we look very much forward actually talking to you, getting to know your business case, and then discussing your requirements and see if Ficode is the right fit for you. Okay, great. So if there is no further questions or remarks, then I would like to thank you for your participation and for your attendance, and we wish you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much for joining. Take care and bye.